Hello, you guys. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. My little strawberries. My little strawberries. I hope that you had a good day and a good week. A good day and a good week. Good week. So, sorry about the construction sounds. I can't do anything about that. They make those every day. I'm going to continue with the trigger words you've probably never heard of. I have this vocab list that I made whenever I was reading something and I didn't recognize the word right away. Like if you asked me to define it, I might struggle even with context cues a little bit. And yeah, these are my hangman words for when my family plays hangman, which we do whenever we go out to dinner. Which I haven't been using these lately because it is kind of like unfair, but anyway, I did the front side in my last video that I made of this like months ago. So today I'm gonna do the back side, the back side, the back side, the back side. But yeah, there's a couple more on the back too because I crammed some extra at the top, and then I still have like half a page that I will add to, and I'll make a third video if you guys like this one. So let's start with this. We're gonna read all of this. The first word is ovarus, 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 which is a noun, and it means extreme greed for wealth or material gain. So ovarus, I guess you could use. Maybe if you're talking about a rich person, in your novel. I never heard of this one before. This one's totally new to me. Ovarus. I hope I said it right too. This is kind of funny. Glibly. It's Glibly. Sounds funny. It's an adjective meaning showing little forethought or preparation. So I guess, you're just kind of someone who does something on a whim. Glibly. That one's kind of funny. Glibly. I kind of like that way it sounds. Don't know if I love the way it's spelled. Maudlin. It's an adjective meaning self-pityingly or tearfully sentimental. This one I think I have heard a couple times. Maudlin. It's not a word I would think to use though. It's not a common word I would think of. Maudlin. Equanimity. It's a noun meaning mental calmness, composure, and even temper. Equanimity. That's a noun, not a adjective. So I guess it would be more like someone's in a state. Someone's in a state of equanimity. So instead of saying that they're in a state of calm, you could say they're in a state of equanimity. I like that one too. Innocuous. Now this one I have heard. Innocuous, which is an adjective meaning not harmful or offensive. Just like, I don't know, the innocuous bear. Maybe, the bear's not. Especially like brown bears and black bears are usually scared of people, so probably not gonna mess with you, Innocuous. Derision. Derision. This one I've also heard quite a few times. Derision is a noun meaning contemptuous ridicule or mockery. I've definitely heard like, oh, da 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 da. You know, about like I don't know if you could say like cyberbullying because it says like ridicule or mockery. Or you could probably say like, I don't know, maybe a political leader doing some not so great things. You can say it's derision, you know. Derision, derision, derision. Derision, derision, derision. That one felt a little bit too real. Remonstrance. Remonstrance. This one's kind of interesting. It's REMONSTRANCE. Remonstrance, which is a noun. So and that's a forcefully reproachful protest. Which I'm like, I don't even know. That's so specific. Like what context I would maybe could easily, you know, I feel like that's not a word you could just easily sandwich in. You'd have to have that very specific circumstance going on to use this word. Remonstrance. That's one I've never heard before. And I struggle to think of an example too. A forcefully reproachful protest. Taciturn. 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 An adjective meaning a person reserved in speech. So someone untalkative. And it's spelled T-A-C-I-T. Excuse me, I felt that sneeze coming. My hair. T-U-R-N. It's just interesting because it's like tacit, tacit, and then turn. Interesting. That's one I've never heard before, but I guess you can use it for an untalkative person. Enumerate. I like the sound of this one. This is a verb meaning to mention a number of things one by one. I think I have heard this before, but yeah, if you're just like, you know, laying out your list of maybe your things to do, or maybe a lawyer at trial is laying out the charges. And it's a verb, so you know they enumerated. And then you don't have to say they mentioned it one by one. You know, that's what they mean by this word. It's a fancier way instead of having to say one by one. Assiduously. This one I've heard once or twice. Assiduously. It's just funny because it starts with the word assiduously. An adverb meaning with great care and perseverance. They assiduously moved. I don't know, something, I'm trying to think of something big and heavy. They assiduously moved the rock. Because, you know, they moved the rock. Moved is their verb, but assiduously is the descriptive word. So, you know, that with great care and perseverance, they moved that rock. Gamut. I've never really known how to say this word, but I've definitely heard it multiple times. Gamut, which is a noun, the complete range or scope of something. I've definitely heard this in social commentary videos. They're just like the whole gamut or whatever of the situation, whatever. Gamut. Another one I really like is beatific. It's like the word beat, and then ific. An adjective meaning blissfully happy. Blissfully happy. Beatific. 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 Another word that you should only see in like books and not spoken. Avaricious. This one's kind of hard. Avaricious. 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 It's Avaricious. An adjective meaning greedy of gain, intense selfish desire for wealth. Intense selfish desire for wealth. So I hope I'm not being too loud with being this soft-spoken close to the mic. I can't hear myself, unfortunately. My phone doesn't let me hear myself and film at the same time. Avaricious, avaricious, avaricious. I feel like I maybe have heard this one, but I'm not confident about it. Archaic. No, I think that's one pretty much everyone has heard. Archaic. I don't know why I put that one on here. I think there's just some words that I also, like I said, wanted to use in Hangman because I thought maybe people wouldn't think to guess this word. When they see the common letters, they'll probably assume something else. But also, just words that I also kind of liked. They're a little more complex. Like I have a lot of adjectives on here because I wanted to maybe, if I ever write something, try to like reference this list and try to include them. Like they're good synonyms, you know, good descriptors if I'm ever like trying to think of something. So I don't necessarily like have to Google it. I have them written down. But yeah, that's an adjective meaning very old or old-fashioned. I feel like everyone has heard archaic used before. I'm looking a little farther down and I'm also seeing the word listless. Another one that I feel like is so common. Listless, which is another adjective meaning lacking energy or enthusiasm. I've heard people be described as listless. Not usually in conversation, but very often in books. This is my one of these little Activia probiotic drinks. This is the strawberry banana one. They say they're good for their gut health. I don't know if this is true. Oh, it says enjoying Activia twice a day for 2 weeks. You're supposed to have 2 of these. I did yesterday just because I like wanted more, but usually I only have 1 in the morning. I don't know if they actually do anything, but I used to get the Yakult drinks. But lately I've just been getting these. Or my mom gets them for me when they're on sale. And she gives them to me when she sees me next. I also I eat the Activia yogurts. So I usually have, as a thing though, I have an Activia yogurt and then I drink this thing. So I kind of have 2 a day. I don't know. Let's see. Microcosm. Another word I feel like people have heard. Microcosm, which is a noun, meaning a place regarded as a miniature of something large. Something large. This doesn't just have to be like a physical place. I think this is also like I've seen people use this to refer to maybe like again, it's social commentary, like a niche of something like, or maybe a small indicator of like a larger problem, or you know, just like maybe some people use the word incorrectly, I don't know, but I feel like it does make sense. Like I see it kind of used as like a smaller example of something large, basically. Meitnerium is what I don't know how to say. It's Meitnerium. Meitnerium. It's a noun meaning a very unstable element made by high energy atomic collision. Oh, this is just an element. on the periodic table, question mark. This isn't one I remember. I mean, I remember going through all the periodic elements, like the entire periodic table, when I was in like 6th grade chemistry, but we didn't spend that long, obviously, on a lot of the man-made ones, because they're not naturally occurring in nature. Although this is an unstable element made by high energy atomic collision. I would assume this is man-made, but I don't know that for sure. Not a chemistry girly. Only where it kind of intercedes with physics and astronomy. Like, I'm interested in astrochem, but I haven't taken a chem class in literally a decade. Wait, no, that's such a lie. I took advanced chem and AP chem in high school. I totally forgot. I took 2 years of it. I just haven't taken it in college. Alright, next word. Ephemeral. I feel like it's ephemeral, which is an adjective meaning lasting for a very short time. That's one I've heard before. I didn't know that was a definition though. Ephemeral. Don't know if I ever really realized that was exactly what it was describing when I would see it, but ephemeral, I think, is correct. Incongruous. This is similar to innocuous. I've also heard incongruous before. Incongruous. It's an adjective meaning not in harmony or keeping with the surroundings. Just something, that sticks out, doesn't quite fit in. And it's a descriptive word, so you could just tack that on to like whatever noun or thing you're describing, behavior, whatever. Interdict. I actually don't know if I've heard this one before. I feel like yes, but also I feel like I've heard the synonyms of this word used more. So it's a verb meaning to prohibit or forbid something. I feel like I would hear the word prohibit or forbid more often than interdict. Yeah. Not as common not the most reached for synonym, probably. I wouldn't think so. This is interesting. Bratis, might be relevant to the construction going on right now, because this is a noun meaning a temporary wood structure on top of a building. This is really specific. Although I don't think they're not building wood structures on top of stuff. They peeled off the side of the walls off some of the buildings because the decks are literally falling apart. So they took the decks apart, peeled off the whole side of the walls, and they're gonna extend out the roof. I don't know why they had to peel the walls off to do that, but I mean, they're already messing with the deck, so I guess maybe we'll take the whole side of the building off. I don't know. But I think they just use a crane to get up there. They don't have any structures, I think, that they have to build. The roofs are very sloped here because it snows, so they're not flat, which I appreciate. I fucking hate flat roofs. They're all over the desert, and I hate that. Vexatious. I like this word. Vexatious, vexing. This is an adjective meaning causing or tending to cause annoyance, of course, because to vex someone is to annoy them. So this is just to describe something as vexatious. You're describing something as annoying. Like the construction going on is fucking annoying. The vexatious construction. Auspicious. I've heard this one. Auspicious is an adjective meaning conducive to success, favorable. Don't know if I ever slowed down to actually think that would be the definition of the word, but I've definitely heard it used before. Auspicious. The next word is erroneous. Erroneous. It's like error. But then instead of the last R, it's erroneous. Neos. It's an adjective meaning wrong or incorrect. So it's literally like describing something as an error. So the word error. Erroneous, isn't it? Erroneous. Just not sure exactly which one it would be. I should have written down the little syllable breakdowns, but then I barely have enough room for each line for the word category and the like short little definitions, because I summarized the definitions. I picked the most common one too, because some words have like 4 or 5 different ways that you can use them. Like, you know, they have a whole list of definitions and contexts. And I just wrote the most popular ones. So Indomitable, just an adjective meaning impossible to subdue or defeat. It's like the indomitable snowman. That one's, I feel like, pretty, I feel like it's known because of that phrase. But also, yeah, like a lot of these words with the N beginning, I-N means it's like the opposite. Domitable, like to be dominated. Indomitable, to not be dominated, to not be subdued. Most of these words you can kind of figure out just by knowing what the, is it called it's called a prefix. The prefix, knowing the meaning of the root word, and then the able is, you know, because it's an adjective, so that's kind of is that a suffix? I believe so. That part doesn't, I feel like, matter as much. That's how you know it's an adjective without having to like look it up like I did. But chuffed. This one's so funny. Chuffed. Just an adjective meaning very pleased. Chuffed, I feel like sounds like you could be annoyed. Chuffed. Like the chuffed. That one's so funny to me. Chuffed. But not necessarily, no. It means you're pleased. It actually means you're happy. It means you're happy. Magnanimous. I've heard this one. It's an adjective meaning generous or forgiving toward a rival, or, you know, a test, something like that. Or lesson, not test. Interesting. Generous or forgiving. Magnanimous. I've heard this a couple times. It's not my favorite word. Magnanimous. I think I'm a huge fan of the magnanimous. Colloquial. That one's another one I feel like everybody knows. Colloquial. Just an adjective meaning used in ordinary or familiar conversation. Of course. Yes, no, it is an adjective. I don't know. I didn't really think of it as one. I think of it as just like, yeah, I feel like they have a colloquial conversation. Oh, you know, the word conversation's in the definition, so maybe not actually. Maybe you'd say something like the colloquial club. I don't know, the colloquial, and then a common topic of conversation, maybe like colloquial gossip, because it's ordinary, or like, you know, the usual gossip. Does that make sense? Altruistic, another one I've heard of. Altruistic. An adjective meaning showing a disinterested and selfless concern. I feel like I've heard people who like give to charity be described as altruistic. I think that's usually where I hear it, like people who are like philanthropists kind of get described as altruistic. Precipitate. This one's interesting because I feel like I would almost think of what is it, like condensation for some reason. Precipitate has to do with water in some way, I just don't remember how, but it's a verb meaning to cause a bad event to happen suddenly. I feel like I wouldn't think of it in like a verb sense. Like I think of it in like I think there's a science definition to this, is there not? I have to look that up. Precipitate. I wouldn't think of this. This isn't the definition I would think of. Maybe. I've definitely heard it used once or twice like this, but churlish. See, this is the one like chuffed. Like I would think chuffed would be negative. Churlish is the negative one. It's an adjective meaning to have a bad disposition. So someone's like surly. Like, yeah, churlish. Chuffed and churlish. But one is pleased and one is like someone in a bad mood. Don't know. I don't know. Does the CHU beginning have to do with attitude? And maybe one of these words is just like the suffix is opposite, and that's why one is positive and one's not. I need to look into that. I always found etymology interesting. I'm like, how did this originate? I feel like they're related. I feel like they have to be, right? Incursion is a noun, meaning an invasion or attack, especially like a sudden or brief one. I feel like I haven't thought of it like that. Oh, I guess you could have like an incursion, like a verbal. I'm thinking of war, but you could have just like a quick little, someone throwing a snide little like jab or attack in suddenly into a conversation, like a little incursion. I could see that. Pittance. That's a noun, a small amount of money paid to someone. I've heard that one. I feel like that's something you hear in like court. Like, oh, they paid a small amount of pittance exchanged or something. I don't know. I keep using the word small and paid in it, but it is a noun, so I think sometimes people do use definitions of a noun in the sentence, even though it's probably repetitive. All right, last word. Catechism. This one's interesting. Catechism. Oh, interesting. So it's CATECHISM. What am I doing? It's a noun meaning a summary of the principles of Christian religion in the form of questions and answers. Catechism. I've never heard that before. Even with my like lately studying Christian history and stuff, it's been interesting to me. I almost would have thought it would have been like Calvinism or something. It's also like Lutheranism. They both or part of the whole Reformation and stuff like that. Catechism. Interesting. I have to look into that one. Alright. That is all for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. These are good words. I liked these. I like to have a mix of, there's a couple of them that I'm sure familiar, but I hope there's at least like a good portion that you didn't know, because there's a good portion of those that like, if you had a gun to my head and you asked me like the definition to like come up with like, oh, here's a definition, give me the word, I'd be like, fuck. But yeah, so I wouldn't even like think of these words, some of them anyway. That's why they're great for Hangman. You know your word's good when people ask afterwards, is this even a real word? And then they have to Google it. Alright. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was like interesting and a little relaxing despite the background noise. So I hope you have a good day or a good night, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you again